Hi guys, this is what I would class as grade 9 information on Lady Macbeth. It is not everything that you need. Please check out my other videos for full responses and essays, an essay on her as well, which is also on my Instagram. If you do have any questions directly for me, info@staceyray.co.uk, and please sign up to our website www.staceyray.co.uk. If you would prefer to catch me on Instagram, it's @staceyray. So again, this is not everything, it's just the things that I think will push you to the grade 9, make you original in terms of your essay. Before we get into Lady Macbeth, and let me just present you with a few ideas. So we are talking about a time when James I is on the throne. And as an English teacher, and when I read essays and when I've read exam responses, there tends to be similar responses about Lady Macbeth. And they go down the line of females don't have power, masculinity is linked to power. And granted, so be it. However, I would like to present the argument that perhaps Shakespeare and Lady Macbeth are feminists before their time. And I'm going to explain that in just a moment. Because we have just seen Elizabeth I on the throne. Elizabeth I is one of our greatest monarchs in terms of how she led and her bravery. And interesting, she didn't provide the country with an heir, which I suppose is there's a link there to Lady Macbeth, because nor does she. She doesn't provide Macbeth with an heir. And we are talking about a time as well where Elizabeth I has been on the throne and Mary Queen of Scots keeps trying to usurp her. So you are talking about two very powerful women there. If you look at Shakespeare's works, he gives us powerful women. Lady Macbeth, Juliet, etc, etc, etc. There's plenty of them. So let's just start thinking about that in terms of a good argument. Remember, arguably should be in our essays, and this is an argument that we present the examiner that will make our essay original. There's a few things on here, and I've written them up so that you can see them if you need to. Quickly, in terms of metaphorical notions, she is Eve from the Garden of Eden. So please watch my video on Adam and Eve, where you get that obvious link. I mean, Eve eats the apple from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and then persuades Adam to do it. Lady Macbeth persuades Macbeth to take the crown, and you know, there is a punishment, a divine punishment from God that Adam and Eve suffer, and that Macbeth and Lady Macbeth suffer. The serpent and all that is linked on that video. The argument that she is the fourth witch because she draws upon them immediately. She sounds like them in terms of the vocabulary that she chooses to use, and there is something dark and supernatural about Lady Macbeth in the opening of the play, much like the witches. And she speaks directly to them, doesn't she? I've put there that she could metaphorically represent immorality. So at the start of the play, Macbeth represents morality and she represents immorality, good and evil, and they're battling each other. And then finally, I've put, if we want to take it even further, that does she represent the shadow, which is Carl Jung's psychology, I suppose. Now, Carl Jung believed that in every human being we had a part of our brain called the shadow, and that was our deepest, darkest thoughts, the things we don't want other people to know. So for instance, for Lady Macbeth, committing regicide. So there's just some suggestions there for metaphorical ideas. Now, in terms of what I'm seeing about feminism, there was popular feminist theories around at the time, just after, I suppose, Shakespeare was writing, and they believed that if a woman, did not give birth, didn't have children, then she was unfulfilled as a woman. You know, we're talking about the 15 and 1600s, we're not talking about modern society. Now, because we've got this idea or this argument that she is unfulfilled as a woman, then she replaces the children, the void of having a child, with the crown, which is an obvious problem, which link you across here. So is she a feminist? I put here before her time, because she exists when women were expected to be subservient to men and were expected to bear and rear children, and because she can't do that, she then looks for power. Now, the problem we have, I suppose, with power is the following. At the start of the play, she's intelligent and she's strong and she's persuasive and she's very dominant, isn't she? But she is reduced to an insignificant woman because of the portrayal of her gender during this patriarchal society. So again, if you look up here, patriarchy defines her intelligence as a flaw. So that's another reason she's classed as unnatural, because she's intelligent. And then you go across here, the patriarch at the time encourages women into the role of motherhood and into maternal instinct. And again, because she doesn't have that natural makeup, does she? Because she doesn't have that biological makeup of being maternal and looking after the child, then they would class her as this unnatural woman, which you can link across to Unsex Me Here, Take My Milk for Gold, all of those references she makes to castration and to her genitals. And so I suppose in the pursuit of power, she inevitably spirals into insignificance. Now, according to Lois Tyson, and again, this is on my Instagram page if you have a look, women invest themselves in the accomplishments of their husbands and their children. So again, if you think about her, she is unable to do that. And when she calls Macbeth too full of the milk of human kindness, then she's also unable to do that. So she can't, it's almost as if she feels like she can't invest in their accomplishments because, well, what is there? Yes, okay, Macbeth is a brave soldier, but that's not enough for Lady Macbeth, is it? Because of what we've discussed here, this need of something more. All right, she is heavily isolated in this play, guys. At 1 scene 5, she's by herself. When we see, she hasn't got any female companions, she's heavily isolated, and therefore, I suppose the void is heightened and emphasised. And what we're going to get there is the juxtaposition of Lady Macduff, who is the epitome of motherhood, who does invest herself in the accomplishments of Macduff and their children. So that is why, I suppose, to a certain extent, they are removed. There's obviously lots of other things we can do with Lady Macbeth in terms of iambic pentameter into prose, in terms of speaking in double meanings. But again, please check out my full Lady Macbeth video for that. This was just that exploration of feminism. And actually, is there an argument that at the start of this play, she is very strong, and she, unfortunately for her, it's almost like she exists in a time period in the wrong one, because she's so independent, because she's so powerful. It almost conflicts with with patriarchal expectation. All right, just some grade 9 suggestions there, guys. But again, check out my full videos on Lady Macbeth. Massive good luck in your exam.